Hey guys, guess what? Yep, hopefully we're gonna unleash some woobats. Pardon me, breakfast. Okay, Mr. Bendy Wendy. Now 1000. Oh my goodness, Necru. Rated 542. Now I have had this. This is like dude saying I'm a Caro player. And I'm going to play the Caro, whatever. So if I play e4 now and d5, we're going to get ourselves into a Caro, yeah? But this is called the Slav invitation as well, because if, like d4, d5, this is now a Slav defense. Whereas if this pawn was here on e6 instead of this pawn on c6, it would be a Queen's Gambit declined. Now, I don't know what the hell I'm doing against that. I do know that this long diagonal is already looking less than appealing. So I'm going to play e4. And we find ourselves in a Caro. Now, unfortunately, I can't get into my normal von Hennig Gambit from this point. Because I'm a move behind, because I've moved this knight out on the first move. And what I want to do is this knight, this bishop, like that. Woody, pack it in. Woody. Hey, now we could takey, or even takey. But if d3 takes, trade queens, I lose castling rights. If bishop d3 takes, bishop takes. I don't know really. This is an interesting one. I'm going to push e5, just because it's kind of aggressive. It takes away the f6 square from this knight. I ain't even bothered about that. I'm going to grab the center. Right? And now I'm in kind of, okay, relatively familiar Caro French kind of territory. I expect c5 to come at some point, although my opponent is in the 5 to 600s. So you never know. You never know what you're going to get. Where are they from? International. Oh, Russia probably. Ah, okay. They do kind of know what they're doing. I mean, I don't know if this is the right move at this point. Now, c3 is kind of natural. But at the same time, you've got bishop b5 check, which forces the knight to block, thereby pinning the knight. I've also got this potential. I mean, look, e6 is... How dumb is that move? I mean, I'm threatening checkmate. So if I was to push e6 here, knight there, I take the pawn with check. He loses castling rights. What else can he do? He pushes. I mean, I could throw this in first. Let's do that. It's a developing move. It's going to create a pin, because wherever the knight goes now, that's one pinned horse. You may notice as well I've shifted over to the Firefox browser because Safari just sucks. Queen's looking at this, it is defended. Now castles would be kind of solid and timid at this point. If I was to take here, then b takes. Black ends up with pawns here, and all of these guys still in place with an undeveloped kingside. I think I might just hold fire and see if my opponent wants to... I mean, you try and kick the bishop and then I might exchange. I can capture on c5. I don't know if there's any benefit to that. I'm really curious about this move. e6. Okay. And I'm threatening to... Well, assume he prevents checkmate, right? Then I'm just going to take here. So what if the pawn takes? That's fine. There, the pawn takes. I mean, this doesn't work because of g6. And is that, you've got to like tread the line between just foolhardy gung-ho and vicious attack, you know? It's hard to tell sometimes. Maybe something just like knight c3, putting double eyes on that. Doesn't interfere with the bishop. That might actually... maybe I should have done this first. Actually though, if he takes here, I can take that with a knight. And we are starting to loom a little bit. I do need to I need to like get a line for if the Réti transposes into this Caro, or find a line that avoids it entirely. Because the other thing, I mean, I used to play like the fantasy variation with f3 against the Caro, right? Like this kind of setup. And if takes, you can recapture here. But again, that's not possible with your knight. Knight on f3. That's one of the downsides of one knight f3. How are we feeling? Well, I mean, I do feel like I'm leaning in. I've got some aggression on. I like the fact that my opponent's kingside is entirely undeveloped. The knight can't come out to its favourite space. It really can't come out there, because either I'll just probably shoot it down, right? And then after g takes, it's like, ouch. That's not pretty pawn structure, is it, for king safety purposes? Remember, the knight's pinned. So I don't know. I do not know. I feel like we're okay right now. I also have the bishop pair. Okay, okay. Now what if I do this now? You can't take the bishop because it gets checkmated. Simple as. Pawn guards that. If the pawn takes, or do I just retreat? Woody! Oi! Stop it. And you. Hello. Can my bishop come around this way? I don't think so, because of pawn c4. So I'm thinking my bishop might have to come to one of these two squares, probably e2, unless I want to trade it off. So if takes, has to take back with a pawn, then this, and then pawn takes there, and he's got pawns like this. No, I just don't feel like, see, yeah, I'm going to retreat the bishop. I've decided to retreat the bishop. Now if I come here and he pushes down to c4, that's not too bad. Generally, yeah, I'm going to try and tempt him to play c4. Then I'll just drop my bishop back to e2. And the reason is then that he's lost all this tension on here. I mean, he can actually take this pawn in two ways now. But, you know, if pawn takes, I can take on d5 with the knight. I still have this as an option. So the point of this series is I should be trying to play as solid as I can, and not, you know, particularly when I'm like 500 points high rated, or strictly speaking 1,000 points high rated. I shouldn't be kind of hoping that my opponent is just going to do stupid stuff. And that's the challenge when you've got a big rating gap like that. But there we go. There we go. I reckon that will turn out to be an inaccuracy. Okay, so I have actually bishop f5, which is worth considering. But I think this is now... Black has now foregone any kind of claim to contest it. I mean, yeah, he's still got a hanging pawn here. And then if takes, my queen's under attack. Do I do that? It's also a fork on the bishop, yeah? So what if... Oh, it's the same issue there. If he takes, it's still a fork, isn't it? So he can still have the bishop. But maybe the bishop ain't all that. What about this now, though? Work with me on this. He can just push on, I think, but pushing on, again, is going to make life hard for his knight, really hard for this bishop to get out on the board. It's still a checkmate threat, and I'm very tempted to do it. So ignore the bishop. You take the bishop, I'll checkmate you, you know. This, if he pushes, does this change anything for my bishop? I can then stick the bishop here, but then knight's still there. What else have we got here? That doesn't work. I'm sorely tempted to go. Come on, I can't resist. Oh no, my bishop. I'm also on 9 minutes as well. So I do not feel like I've really earned any significant advantage here. I've got a hanging pawn and a hanging bishop. Oh dear. Oh dear. You don't like to win like that. And then on the other hand, you kind of do. Let's have a quick look, 'cause I'm curious. Okay, 10 moves. Ouch. What are you going to say, fish? Be kind to me, fish. I made a blunder. Okay, 70% from yours truly and 54% from him. So he's playing at 900 and we both buggered the middle game royally. What happened? Okay. So this is a book move and we have gone into a Caro card. Now I am going to look at what else is possible there. E5 is okay. Caro can't exchange variation, I bet. So, okay, they come up. Excellent move. Best move. We have a tiny stage. C5, inaccurate, interesting. I think what the fish is saying here is that maybe it's premature. But black has a problem at this point. He can't get either knight out to its natural square. So, what's it saying? E6. Huh. Okay, bishop out, excellent move. Obviously. And this is a miss. Yeah, it's just saying free pawn. Free stuff, Hunty, take it. Because also, I mean, this was proving to be a liability for me later on. Right, so that just eradicates the liability, doesn't it? Okay. That's not great, and that's my blunder. Okay. Yeah, because of this pawn. What should I have done? Trade. Trade. Generally the way to go. And after takes we are... It's actually +1 for white because of this. You know, he's just got nothing there. His pawns have been severely mauled. I'm ready to castle. I could castle either side. Got one jolly good bishop. You have to kind of take a snapshot of the screen like this and go, look, who's better here? Well, white's better. You know, not by a mile, but okay. So that was just silly because I hung the pawn. But then that's actually a miss. That's blunder level, right? He should have took the pawn. But black is actually still slightly better here. I'm doing that. Why am I doing that? That's Derek Kelly. If you haven't had a look at chessopenings.com. Excellent. Derek Kelly gave me a few lessons as well a couple of years ago. Splendid, splendid guy. Excellent pianist as well. E6 is a mistake. Yeah. Bishop F1. There, F1. Bishop F1 was the top move. Then E6. A second move. Point 3 of a... Please, stop fish. I played the second move, which is 0.31 of a pawn worse than the other one. And you're saying it's a mistake. Duh. Anyway, Bishop F1, what a funny old move. Okay, and that's a blunder because he blunders mate. So what have we learned from that? I don't know. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up my study for white, the Réti. Okay. And we're going to say, so what, it was 1c6, wasn't it? Okay. So I'm just going to create a new chapter. 1c6. And after this, and they do this. Okay. Now, I have got this set to 1800 to 2000 Lichess, right? And white does pretty good. The winningest move at this early juncture is actually G3 at 53%. C4 is interesting. So, you see, G3, we're just going into like a King's Indian attack kind of setup. But you see, already at the start, I was thinking maybe I don't want my bishop on this diagonal, but, what do we know about pawns? They move forwards. It's all they do. They only know one thing. So let's just follow this line down a bit. Okay, D5 almost always, right? I'm a Caro player. What do you do? And C4 now. C4 now is kind of a delayed thing. So if they take, not the most common move, if they take, then it's not, okay, bishop G2 is played, so E3, no. E3 you don't play at this point, like a kind of delayed Reti gambit. E3 ain't good. But bishop G2, splendid, right? And we've just knocked this pawn off its tracks, that's all. Okay, they play knight f6, we just castle. And white's doing tickety-boo at this point. So, that's enough for me right now, where I am. E6 and A4. Wow. A4 just preventing these ideas. So what are we saying? Okay, they go Caro style. We're going to contest D5, right? That's what to remember. Okay, so I'm just going to rename this Caro style, yeah? Contest D5. Oh, then kind of chipping away at this granite wall here. Okay, sound good? That will do me. I'll try and remember it. Yeah, slightly deflating speedrun game there, but that's what you get. 500 rated opponent. I was a bit lucky. I was a bit clumsy. I must do better next time. Right, see you soon.